Hello beauties. Today I wanted to do a tutorial on hooded eyes. So first I'm going to explain what the hooded eye looks like so that you know if you have this, and then we're going to go over some do's and don'ts as far as trying to flatter your eye shape. So I always knew that my eye shape was different because since I've started wearing makeup and trying to replicate, tutorials or just another girl's eye look, I would notice that it would never look the same on me. And I know sometimes that happens because it's, I pick something super complicated and I just can't do it. But mostly it happened because I do not have the right eye shape for that look, and I would need to make certain changes in order for it to work on me. So hooded eyes, some people are born with hooded eyes, like me, and some people have hooded eyes because they're older and you're you've more mature eyes, so the skin has lost some of its elasticity and it sort of goes over. So basically, if you are looking straight ahead at, a mirror or whatever is on your eyelid, whatever makeup you've put there disappears. Okay, so when people put eye makeup in their crease, they can't see it. We can't, and everyone else can see it, but we can't. So let me name some celebrities to help you give an idea, because I always love to look at their looks to get inspiration and to get ideas, because these ladies are stunning and their makeup is amazing. And they each have sort of a different style of going about how to make it work for them. So the first one that I think of has very hooded eyes, and that's Karlie Kloss. Karlie with a K and Kloss with a K. She is an American model who is good friends with Taylor Swift. So you might have seen her if you follow Taylor Swift on Instagram, which a lot of people do, even if they're older. Anyways, so she's absolutely stunning, completely hooded eyes. So she's a great inspiration. She does a lot of very natural lashy looks, as well as some more smoky looks. The next one is Blake Lively, who is stunning, by the way. So she has hooded eyes. And then Jennifer Lawrence, also hooded eyes. So if you look at their makeup, you might be able to get some ideas and some inspiration for yourself. So I'm going to go into some of the do's and don'ts, because I'm going to be doing this eye with the not so great things for hooded eyes. And then I'm going to be doing this eye with what you should be doing that's just going to flatter your eye better. Now, again, this is, completely up to you. If you have been doing something for years and you like how it looks on you, then of course, keep doing it. Do what makes you happy. I just wanted to kind of give some tips and tricks so that if you're trying to do a regular makeup look, or if you're trying to alter something that you have found that you really want to do on your own hooded eyes, just to show you some ways to make that work. So number one, I'm sorry if I'm moving quickly. I just talk fast and I don't want to make the videos like 20 minutes long, so trying to work on this. So number one, I would say, is eye primer. So I've already primed this eyelid, and you can do your under eye as well. Not like super far down, but just a little bit in case you use eyeshadow on your lower lash line, which is something that some hooded eyed people do, just as something a little bit different, and it can look really nice. So anyway, so I put eye primer. Now the reason for that is, personally, and I know that this happens to other people, if I put eyeliner on my upper eye and then, I wait a couple hours, or maybe not even, and then I look back, it has transferred and I have like my own little eyeliner line above. So that is something that happens because, of our hooded lids coming down, and because the eyeliner, touches there. So eye primer is one way to help stop it. Now, I don't have a huge problem with that with our eyeliners. I think they're really amazing. They're waterproof. They really do stay on quite well, throughout the day or the night or whatever your plan is. But this just, an extra precaution to make sure that it doesn't. And it also keeps the eyeshadow where you put it, which is something we want as hooded eyes. We don't want more things transferring in addition to the eyeliner. So whatever you put on your lid will stay there. However, since it keeps eyeshadow where you put it, it can be a little tricky as far as blending, which is something you really want to do no matter what, but you really want to do with hooded eyes. So we will be using a transition color on our dew eye, and I will show you how to do that in a moment. So first we're gonna start with brows. Now, believe it or not, it starts at the brows. Okay, so we have eyeshadow primer and we have none here. It may not make a difference right away, but throughout the day of wear, definite difference. I am gonna be using our brow pencil in dark. I dyed my hair recently, so it's a little bit darker. And my hairs are darker, so just in general, I pretty much go to dark. Okay, so for the don't, one of the things that you should not do, and I know everybody's brow shape is different and whatever look you might be going for a little bit different, but one thing to avoid is to round out the brows and almost like curve them in at the end. I don't think many people curve it in at the end, but if you round it out too much, like we want to make it a little bit more of a line here and then a line here and not curve it too much. Scotty's always hanging out. Sorry, this is in the background right there. Anyways, I will show you why, because it tends to make this area look even more puffy and obvious, and that's not really what we're trying to do. So I'm gonna fill in this brow with the dark pencil, and again, just like little strokes. And then I'm doing like the beginning as I normally would. But then as I go through, I'm gonna sort of round this out. I don't want to bring it in too much because I think that's weird, but, and again, this helps to spread the product when you use the little spoolie and sort of even it out. But yeah, if you round them too much, it is not very flattering for this particular eye shape. Okay. All right, so there we go. Not, you know, not wild and crazy, but, you know, not best. So what I would say is when you're filling in your brow, I don't know why I just closed my eye. That was weird. When you're filling in your brows, I would stick to, like mine sort of go in a straight line. So I would stick with that. So I'm going to stick with sort of the straight line and not really curve anything. I'm not going to round it out because I don't want to like draw attention to the fact that I have a lot of space in between here. And I do. All right, so this is more of what I would typically do with my brow. Okay, so already, and I know not, I mean, the brows are sisters, not twins, so even on a normal basis, they're not going to be identical, so we just, I hate when people say that, but it is true, so we're just going to have to deal with that. Okay, but for today, for these purposes, absolutely. Okay, so the next tip is that you should avoid, typically, shimmery or sparkly shades above the crease. Okay, so if you want to put them on your lid and in like your inner corner area, absolutely. But when you bring them up higher, it draws attention to the fact that there is this, you know, sort of extra skin right here and that your crease disappears and you're making it kind of sparkly and obvious, and that's not typically what you want to do. So I'm going to be using the Moonstruck Addiction Palette 2. This is actually, I have all three palettes. This is my favorite. This is my go-to. Okay, this video is gonna end up being longer. Anyways, okay, so I'm going to put, I'm gonna use our shader brush. So this is the one that has the liner edge. Okay, so I'm gonna use the shader brush and I'm using the very shimmery shade, where am I going? Blissful. Okay, it's even super shimmery in here. It's like a goldy color, okay? So on the dew eye, I'm gonna put that right on the lid. So just on the bottom part, below my crease. Okay, just putting it right there. All right, so I get to use the shimmer shade, but I keep it on the lower part of my eye. So for the don't eye, I'm gonna just get happy with this and I'm gonna put it all over and I'm gonna go above the crease. Okay, which again, you can do, it's just I'm not really sort of camouflaging it. Okay. All right, so that's number one. Okay, so number two is that above our crease, now if we put a transition color, which is just sort of like a blending color that you put in your crease normally, if we put that in our hooded crease, it will still disappear. Nobody will be able to see it. So I'm gonna use the color Honorable, which if you watch any of my tutorials is like one of my favorite colors. It's like a taupey light brown. So we are going to put Honorable above our crease. Because again, if I put it in the crease, it's going to disappear. We're not even going to see it. So I'm going to put it above the crease, okay? And again, I'm going to do the most pigmented part on the outer part of the eye because that just tends to flatter all eye shapes. And then I'm going to sort of blend it in, okay? And again, I'm going above the crease because if we put it in our crease, it's just going to disappear. We're not going to see it. Okay, and I'm applying this with a light hand because we used the primer and that can make it harder to blend. So you really want to, you know, apply this in layers and lightly so that it's easier to blend it in. Okay, so I am pretty happy. Also, you don't have to go all the way in. Like I went pretty far in, but it wasn't with the most pigmented part. Like I start off with the most makeup on the outside and then blend it in. But as a hooded-eyed girl, you may not want to go very far in with the darker color. So that's completely up to you and what you think looks best. Okay, so now I'm going to go into the same shade, but I'm literally just gonna put it in the crease, like in the actual crease of this eye, which is not gonna, you'll see, just not gonna be the best. Okay, so if I go into my actual crease and put it in there, this is what a normal person can do to their eye. For us, it disappears. Like I literally have to close my eye in order for you to see it on my right eye. But on my left eye, because I put it above and I blended it, so it's not like, whoa. But if I just put it in my actual crease and go all the way in, which is something I wouldn't recommend for us, it disappeared. It disappears. So I have it on the outer corner a little bit, you can see, and I have the shimmer up there, but it completely disappeared. Okay, so next, anyone can do eyeshadow on their lower lash line. Anyone. I mean, you can do whatever you want. You know, do you. But it can be really great for people with hooded eyes because it just kind of helps show the eye shape. And our eyes tend to be a little bit smaller maybe than the average one. So it's kind of nice to do this in a subtle way. So again, I'm going to use Honorable and I'm going to use my finger. As you know, I don't always use brushes, so, you know. And I'm just going to do the outer edge and just below my waterline and just kind of smudge some of the taupey color there. And this is a look I would wear for every day. I mean, everybody's different with your job, your comfort level, your whatever, but I would wear this for like an everyday look, the one on the left. Okay, so just a little bit of Honorable on that lower lash line, just to give it a little bit of, you know. All right, so next liner. I'm sorry I'm going quickly, but these videos really fly by and I'm taking up a lot of time. Okay, so for this one, I'm just leaving it completely blank. So next, I would say a highlight color. Now, for a highlight color, which you could use on your inner corner as well as below your brow, for hooded-eyed ladies, I would say to go for something not shimmery. Okay, so I'm gonna use, and it's kind of hard because I'm already pretty pale, so I don't really know, but I'm gonna use from palette 1, Elated. Okay, so it is like a creamy color. So I'm gonna use Elated on my deluxe brush, and I'm gonna use this. It has no shimmer. It's a completely matte color. So on my good eye, I'm going to use this under my brow. If there's any place to sort of concentrate it, I would say like under your arch and towards the outer edge. Okay. So this I would definitely do matte. Inner corner, you can do shimmer or matte, totally up to you. I'm going to keep with the matte, but again, you can do either way, even with hooded eyes. The inner corner, just kind of brightening it up. So I'm going to stick with elated. Okay, so now for the hooded eye, I am going to use a shimmery shade. So the lightest one in this one, I guess I'll stick with, yeah, I'll stick with the cooler colors. So I'm going to go in with Romantic, which is like a silvery lighter color. So I'm going to put that, and again, I would not recommend this under the brow bone, just because it's drawing more attention again, which we don't necessarily want. And then inner corner, which you can do shimmer regardless, but we're definitely doing shimmer here. Okay, and still the right placement. Okay, sorry. Next, liner. Love eyeliner. But you should make sure not to do a very thick line. So I'm gonna do a thicker line on my no. Okay, so it started out, whoa, how did I do that? God, I always make such a mess. Causing a ruckus, can't take me anywhere. All right, so that's not bad. So I'm gonna thicken it up because a thinner line, again, is ideal for hooded eyes ladies, but a thick line is not so much. All right, wow. Okay, yeah. So again, I did that, and now you can't see any of the eyeshadow anymore. Because, you know, all you see is that eyeliner. Okay, so now for the yes, the good eye, I would say to do, oh, and I'm gonna do the inner. You, again, everybody's different. You can do your waterline if that's what you like. For hooded eyes that tend to be smaller, I'd say not to do this, just because it can be very drastic looking, and it can make the eye look smaller. So like on this side, we used just a little bit of the taupey honorable eyeshadow. But on this one, I used, you know, a thicker line of this, which just, it kind of makes the eye look smaller, which is not what we're going for. Okay, so for this one, I would do a thin line above. So on our upper, I'm gonna do a thin line. If you want to make the outer edge a little bit more wedge shaped, that's cool. I wouldn't do, again, winged eyeliner is a little tricky on us too, so if you're not experienced with that or you haven't found a way that you like, you can sort of make a wedge, which just means the outer corner is a little bit thicker. But yeah, okay, so, okay. And another thing I would do, and this is only if you can handle this, this is not easy, is your upper waterline. So that would be there. Okay, so I'm going to do that in front of you. Sorry, I should have warned you. If you don't want to see this, look away for a moment. So again, this is the upper waterline. So this is to thicken up your lash line. Okay, and to eliminate that sort of white space, sorry, I'm tearing up a little bit, to eliminate that white space between your eye and your eyeliner. Because again, the point of eyeliner is just to thicken up your lash line. Okay, so I would not do lower liner. If you do choose to do lower liner, I would do perhaps a lighter color, or just make sure that you smudge it out with your finger or some sort of smudger, just to make sure that it's not a very harsh line. Okay, last thing is mascara. Absolutely curl your lashes. Absolutely curl your lashes. And mascara on definitely the top, the bottom if you choose. So I'm gonna do that. Okay, so this is the finished look. So with this eye, I barely did any mascara. With this eye, I did 2 coats of fibers. Okay, so here is the do eye and the don't eye. Okay, so thank you so much for watching.